It should be. He usually does, yeah. I don't think you have much competition.
Good morning again. My name is Pat Bukowski and I represent the Council on Aging. I'd like to welcome all of the candidates, our audience here at the Lorraine Cliff-Nodgren Senior Center, as well as our viewing audience. This forum is being conducted as a community service. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize some of our community leaders that have taken time from their work and their schedules to join us this morning. Our town manager, Julie Jacobson, Ed Kasanovich, assistant town manager and accountant, Ann Weston, chairman of the Conservation Commission, Joe Hamill, Cable Committee and Bylaw Committee, Bob Grossman, Selectman, Ellen Gabry, Town Clerk, Carl Westerman, former veteran and former Selectman, Steve Coleman, Fire Chief, and Chief Slucas, Auburn Police, Lillian Halpin, a member of the Council on Aging and the DAB Auxiliary. Before we begin, I'd also like to introduce Ellen, and perhaps she has a few words to say.
Good morning. I'm Ellen Gabry, the Auburn Town Clerk, and I just want to remind everybody, in case you don't know, the annual town election is May 21st. That's Tuesday. The polls will be open at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. in the Auburn High School gym on Auburn Street. Absentee ballots are available now in the town clerk's office, and until the deadline for voting absentee is noon on the day before the election. So that would be Monday, May 20th. At noon is the deadline. I have ballots now. If you're eligible to vote absentee or you would like an application, please either come into the office or call. That's 508-832-7701. I have brought absentee applications, so they'll be available here at the Senior Center as well. I have left specimen ballots, if anybody would like to look at the ballot. There is a different ballot for each precinct because town meeting members are representative of their precincts, so those change, but the main offices are all the same. Thank you.
The candidates will be introduced as they appear on the ballot, and if you look over to Miss Lillian, she will be the timekeeper, 7 minutes. So therefore, if you're running close to those 7 minutes, she will give you a signal. Why don't we begin with the Auburn Housing Authority? Is Betty Basinskis here this morning? Okay. Wayne Page will be running also. Wayne?
Good morning, everybody. First, I'd like to thank the Senior Center for always putting on these candidate forums, because we don't... Louder? Hello?
Yeah.
Better? First, I'd like to thank the Senior Center for having these candidate forums every year, where we don't seem to have too many candidate forums in the town of Auburn. But I'm running for Auburn Housing Authority, and I'd like to get your support and vote for me on May 21st. I have a couple things I'm going to read off to you that I'd like to try to do on the Auburn Housing Authority. I plan to work hard to develop a strong working relationship between the town of Auburn and the Housing Authority. I want to encourage residents to participate in programs in the town senior center and work to identify new programs that may be of interest to them. I also would try to subsidize transportation costs for the Auburn Housing Authority residents to travel to the senior center for programs. Being a father and a granddad myself, I want to be certain that all family residents are aware of utilizing the resources and programs offered by the Auburn Youth and Family Service. Another one is keeping a close eye on the Auburn Housing Authority budget is extremely important. I want to work on long-term planning, goals, and objectives. Finding ways to balance the need of the residents with these goals and finding funding that may be available to the Auburn Housing Authority. I also intend to closely monitor the fees accounts annual report, including the calculation of the pilot program payments in lieu of taxes, and ensure that this payment is made to the town of Auburn in a timely manner. I am very concerned of the particularly lack of an emergency plan at the Auburn Housing Authority, including installation of the generators that have been sitting outside both developments for years. I know how important it is that all residents have a complete understanding of emergency plans, and that the plan be coordinated with the town of Auburn's public safety officials. I have a few other ones I'd like to mention on is at the Auburn Housing Authority committee meetings. I would like to get more people to come as residents of the Housing Authority to these meetings. I have gotten conversations with people saying they feel threatened when they go to these meetings, so they stop going because something of retaliation or anything like that. I will make sure that if anybody has anything to say, they can come to me anytime, and I will make sure that they're not retaliated on for saying what they believe in. We're here to make the residents, the veterans, the families, the best possible way of life that they can do, because a lot of them are in hardship and they need a helping hand. We're not there to give them a problem, we're there to help them with the problems. And another thing that really bothered me was the deal with the fire extinguishers. They haven't been straightened out for over 5-6 years now, and finally now we're moving forward. But there's a lot of things we need. I like to start a newsletter monthly for all the residents in the housing so they know what's going on at the senior center. I want to make sure that we have programs at the Housing Authority, which we don't now. We need to cooperate with all different departments to make things happen for the people. The seniors, the veterans, the families, they need help, and I want to help. I am well known for a strong sense of community involvement, as evidenced by my long list of volunteer service to the town of Auburn. As a current chairman of the Council of Aging, I have firsthand knowledge of the needs and concerns of elders in our community. And I have long demonstrated willingness to do whatever I can do to help make their lives better. I see serving on the Auburn Housing Authority as an opportunity to continue my passion to help others, including elderly, disabled persons, veterans, and families. I recognize the need for more housing for all of these groups, and I intend to make every effort to find ways to address these problems. I think I have a problem with another thing on the Auburn Housing Committee is that their meetings is that when you speak, they have citizens comment at the beginning of the meeting. And after that, you can't speak. If there's an issue they're talking about at the meeting, you raise your hand, you're denied. You cannot speak on the issue. I want to make sure that everybody can speak when they need to. There should be a time limit to a point, but I think people have a right, if there's an issue coming up and we're deciding a certain issue and somebody that are in housing or something that are living in one of the units want to say, you know, maybe it's better to go this way or we should go that way and make a suggestion, I think they should be able to get up and say something. We're not always right, I'm not always right, and it's always good to have the input of those in the housing themselves to get things resolved. I think we need better communication. I don't think the people that go to the housing have been treated very well at these meetings. I think there's a lot of improvement with the budget, there needs to be a lot of improvement all around. And then there's problems with applications that have been missing. I want to make sure that all the applications are on file, taken care of, and I want to make sure everybody has an equal opportunity. And I hope you will vote for me on May 21st. Thank you for your time.
Next on the ballot are the library trustees. We have Roberta Baker, is she here? And Paula Milligan. All right, we'll move on to moderator, Charles Baker. The school committee, Jeff Laurie.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Laurie. I'm running for another term on the school committee. I am running unopposed, so I thank you for your support 3 years ago. And I also like to thank the Council on Aging and the Senior Center for hosting this event here today. It was 3 years ago that I stood here asking for your vote to serve on the school committee. And it doesn't seem possible that 3 years have gone by. And here I am again asking you to support me to serve our community and our children. And I told you that I would advocate for our community and children by being fiscally responsible. I shared with you my past labor experience, and that I would advocate and support initiatives and programs that would ensure the safest environment possible would be provided for our children. I told you that one of my strengths is building consensus, and by working together and collaboratively, we would deal with and solve problems facing our schools. I told you that public service and community involvement was an integral part of my life and my family's lives. That it truly would be an honor to serve the community, and there is no greater honor than advocating for the needs of our children. I shared that I have 2 daughters, Gabriella and Isabella, and 3 years ago they were attending Packagug Elementary and the Auburn High School. So, here we are, 3 years later. I was elected, and I'll tell you, the very first few meetings, I was like a deer in the headlights. As I tried to acclimate myself, I decided that I was going to dive right in. I wanted to not only see where the money was being spent, but how. I reviewed almost every bill schedule to see where our dollars were going. I asked questions and learned about individual education plans, special education mandates, transportation costs, trimester implementation, to name just a few. During difficult times, I proposed budget cuts. I worked with school administration on eliminating parking fees. I participated in the master plan committee, setting the direction for the district, supported full-day kindergarten, communicated with our state representative and senator regarding funding and other issues facing our schools, and played a small role in bringing a security project to not only the school district, but the town as well. I made a motion to add a security line item to the budget. I supported security upgrades and enhancements district-wide, successfully negotiated contracts, and also participated by serving on several hiring committees that led to a principal, business manager, and special education director being hired. I also served in the subcommittee that proposed the Major David Broder High School, a proposal that initially faced apprehension by some members of the community, but was ultimately embraced through communication and working collaboratively. This undertaking ultimately will enhance our high school campus by recognizing and honoring David Broder in a truly fitting way for the ultimate sacrifice he made for our community and our nation. It was a humbling experience, and serving as a school committee member provided that opportunity, something I will always cherish. This past year, I was selected by my peers to be chairperson of the Auburn Public Schools. It was truly a privilege to serve my community and the district in that role. And I realize that these are very difficult times as we all work to provide for ourselves and our families. Auburn is a place that has a proven track record of helping others and making sacrifices. I'm supporting and hope you all will consider supporting the effort to build a middle school, and I'll speak further on that in a moment. 3 years ago, I told you that I wanted our kids to be known not only as champions on the athletic fields, but champions in and from the classroom. That I wanted universities across the country to take a second look at our kids, because the education that we were providing them was preparing them for any challenges that they may face. I stand here today, 3 years later, and tell you that we are still known as champions on the athletic fields. My youngest daughter, Bella, is now in the 7th grade at the Auburn Middle School, doing very well. My oldest daughter, Gabby, will be graduating from Auburn High School at the end of the month. She, along with many of her friends, will be attending colleges and universities throughout this great country. They are champions in and from the classroom. Attending schools like Boston University, Boston College, WPI, Emerson, just to name a few. And I'll share that Gabby will be attending American University in Washington, D.C. in the fall. My wife, Carol, and I are very proud of both our girls. In closing, I'd like to thank the community, town administration for supporting education. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge the entire district for preparing our kids and their classmates for their future success. It has been an honor and a privilege to advocate for you and our most precious resource, our children, as they are Auburn's future. I look forward to serving for the next 3 years and hope that you will consider filling in the circle next to my name on May 21st, 2013. Moving on, I'm now representing, do you want to restart the 7-minute clock? I'm actually going to be representing the question 1 on the ballot, vote yes for the Auburn Middle School. So I'll go over this. Basically, in 2007, the Massachusetts School Building Authority, the MSBA, approved a statement of interest, SOI, for the middle school due to issues of overcrowding. The size of the current middle school is approximately 60,000 square feet, with the proposed middle school being nearly 100,000 square feet. MSBA's process required that the School Building Committee, SBC, study various options to determine which was the best to address the problem of overcrowding at the Auburn Middle School. Those options included doing nothing, renovating the existing facility, doing a renovation addition on the current middle school, building a new middle school on the same site, thus tearing down the current building, or building on the new site. The first 2 options, doing nothing or renovating the existing middle school, would not address the issue of overcrowding at the middle school. The third option, doing a renovation addition on the current middle school, will leave all existing classrooms undersized per MSBA regulations, with the only new constructed classroom meeting their standards. The fourth option, building a new middle school on the existing site, thus tearing down the current building, would not allow the reuse of that building as recommended by the APS Master Plan team. The fifth option, building new on new site, was supported by the SBC as their preferred option, as it was the most educationally appropriate and fiscally sound option. Students attending the Auburn Middle School during the construction of the middle school on West Street will suffer no negative consequences of being educated in a construction zone for nearly 2 years. The new middle school has been designed to support the middle school's team teaching model with all grades, six students clustered together in 2 teams in adjacent classrooms, and the same being true for grades 7 and 8. In effect, each grade level will have its own wing of the building, with the 2 grade level teams working closely together in supporting students. Currently, not all classrooms within a given team are located within close proximity, making teamwork a challenge. The new middle school has been designed to include 6 science laboratory classrooms, allowing the curriculum frameworks to be fully implemented in safe environments. Each science classroom is approximately 1,200 plus square feet as compared to the size of the current science rooms, some of them being converted classrooms ranging between less than 700 square feet to nearly 1,000 square feet. The new middle school will have a functional media center with all adjacent technology lab. The media center will have books, periodicals, and reference materials, as well as portable technology such as iPads and/or laptops for on-the-go learning. The size of the new media center is 3,500 square feet as compared to approximately 1,300 square feet being the size of the current library at the current AMS. The new Auburn Middle School will be a green school through the Mass CHIPS program and will be equipped to fully address the demands of a 21st century education. The outdoor classroom area will have full wireless capabilities along with a power source to allow students to work outside, conduct experiments, and gather data for science or other classes. The gymnasium is regulation sized with telescopic bleacher seating to allow spectators to safely watch student games while also serving as a gathering spot for large assemblies of students during the school day. The new middle school will be fully handicapped accessible, meeting all current codes and requirements. Voting 1 for the debt exclusion guarantees funding for the middle school project and guarantees the state will pay 58.61% of all eligible expenses. If the ballot question is not approved and Auburn fails to act within the 120-day MSBA timeline, the town could lose millions of dollars of funding for this project because the project will be behind over 1,000 other school projects already on the MSBA list. Voting for the debt exclusion has no impact on our bond rating, which has steadily improved over the past several years. Voting for the debt exclusion does not diminish the amount of money available to the town in the event of an emergency. Voting for the debt exclusion guarantees the tax will end at the conclusion of the payment. For example, in 20 years, it will revert back. Lastly, I shared with you earlier that my daughter Gabby will be attending American University in the fall. The current Auburn High School building is not the reason for her and her friends' success. The teachers and administration at Mary D. Stone, Packagug, Auburn Middle, and the high school are responsible. However, the state-of-the-art facility on Auburn Street most definitely enhanced her education and provided her and her fellow students opportunities to excel and to better prepare and to compete and ultimately succeed in an ever-changing world. By supporting this project, by voting on May 21st, yes, you are making a positive difference in providing enhanced educational opportunities for students for years to come. You will be investing in our community and our most precious resource, our children. Again, I'd like to thank the Senior Center and Council on Aging for hosting this event and hope you will consider supporting this project by voting yes on May 21st. Thank you.
And for the Board of Selectmen, Stephen Simonian.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. As the other candidates said, thank you for having this forum every year. And I want to thank those from the town who took the time to come up here as well. And thank you also for spending some time with us this morning. I know that it's commonplace to come up here and talk about yourself and your accomplishments, and I think that over the last 3 years, you've seen what I've stood for. I've treated this position with the same integrity and honor that I served in the United States Navy. I see this as an extension of that, and I've acted accordingly. I haven't done anything to dishonor the position of selectman. But more importantly, this election for selectmen is about the community. It is not about one person. 3 years ago, I made one promise, and one promise only, to the community here in Auburn. And that promise was that no matter what, I would stand up for you, be your voice, a voice for the community, a voice for the people who elected me. And I never took that honor lightly, and I have kept that promise. Now, there's been a lot of chatter here and there, and I'm just going to share with you some of the things that have happened in our community in the 3 years that I've been on the Board of Selectmen, because it seems that I've heard from several residents, and I've made myself as accessible as possible over those 3 years, that there's a lot of people who feel the community has changed. And we've seen that recently. A lot of people don't know. I was told that this year was the 50th anniversary of the Rotary Club's Pancake Breakfast, and yet we had one of the worst turnouts. Each year we've had smaller and smaller groups at community events like our Independence Day program. And it's unfortunate because although I didn't grow up in Auburn, I spent some time here as a kid. My uncle lived in Auburn for 34 years up on Appleton Road. And Auburn has always been a very great, a very proud, and a very strong community. And some of that's changed. And one of the reasons that it has changed is because there are people in the town who don't want someone like me to stand up for you, to be your voice. They want people who just want to go along with the flow, not create any waves, and not stick up for you. I made that promise to you, I kept it. So I just want to recap a few things that have happened since I was elected to the Board of Selectmen. Because early on I chose to stand by my promise to you and be your voice, an attempt was made to put a recall on our ballot on town meeting for the sole purpose of recalling elected officials. Our own former town clerk and Board of Selectmen Chair, Beth Prouty, stood up and spoke out against that. And her comment rang true to what is going on here today. Her words were, "This is the kind of thing that rips communities apart." She's absolutely right. This kind of thing being done behind the scenes and not out in the open absolutely tears communities apart. When the recall was voted down by town meeting, after that, in an attempt to do nothing more than drag my name through the mud for being your voice, a false complaint was made. And actually, I take that back. A complaint wasn't even made. People went to the media and said that an ethics violation had been filed against me. Now, we spent, unfortunately, a few $1,000s of your tax money because I had to meet with our town attorney in order to deal with this, only to find out that no complaint was actually ever filed. It was just an attempt, as I said, to drag my name through the mud. And when I brought the proof from the ethics committee that no complaint had been filed, and I spoke with our own reporter, Ellie Olson, about it, and she printed an article to that effect, she received a phone call from a private number, called me, and told me that someone had called her and accused her of being in my pocket. That's the kind of thing that bullies and cowards do, and Auburn is better than that. We should not be doing those types of things. I said it 3 years ago. We have differences, but we should debate those differences. We should talk about those differences out in the open, and when we need to agree to disagree. We should not let those things rip this community apart. It's absolutely unnecessary. At the end of the day, we're all neighbors. Lastly, I would just like to say, I want to actually read to you a brief letter that was sent to myself, my wife, and a few other people on Facebook. It was a letter of apology from one of our residents. And I'm going to apologize up front for some of the, but I want to be specific. Hi, Steve. I don't really know anything about what's going on with my dad and some email he sent somewhere. I do think he's being a huge ass. So I am staying out of whatever he is doing. I honestly don't have a clue. I was going to read an article today on the Daily Auburn, but I'm not sure I want to know, so I didn't read it. I only knew that something was up when a reporter called here asking for a statement. My mother told him he's being an ass too. He said that you were thinking of resigning or something like that. I hope that is not true because I really think that you are still one of the best guys to be on the board. I am sorry Nick didn't get back in either because I really think you and Nick did and are doing a great job as selectmen. I hope you don't let these crazy people beat you down. I am sorry for any craziness he has or his group has caused you. I don't speak to him about any of politics because he drives me crazy. I just wanted to let you know I think my dad has an isolated group of radicals who are pissed about something that I'm pretty sure didn't even really involve you. I just want to let you know I truly am sorry for any crap my dad has given you. He is really pissing me off, but I do not get into it with him because we live in the same house. Good luck with everything. Barbara Hamill, Rizzoli. I will close with this comment. I will reiterate, for 3 years I've been your voice. There are people who no longer want me to be that voice. My opponent seems like a nice gentleman, but unfortunately he has aligned himself with those people. They're looking for another yes man on the board of selectmen. If that's what you want, then I say support him. But if you want someone who's going to stand up for the Auburn community, if you want someone who's going to continue to be your voice and your voice only, and not bow to anyone else on the board of selectmen, I'm asking you for your vote on May 21st. It has been an honor to serve you for 3 years, and I will respect your decision no matter what it is on May 21st. Thank you very much for your time.
And now Thomas Dombrowski.
Good morning. I'd also like to thank you all for coming. My name is Tom Dombrowski. I'm asking for your vote as selectman for this town on May 21st. It wasn't going to start this way, but I have not been and ever have been in anybody's pocket. That's the bottom line with that. I'm here for the people, and that's all I'm here for. I too, like Mr. Simonian, I do want to be a voice for the people. My ears are open, and I'll speak for them. And whatever the people want is what I want. I'd like to start off with, I've lived in Auburn for 23 years. My wife and I have raised our 3 daughters. They've all attended Auburn schools and graduated from Auburn High School. I've always been active in the Auburn community as much as possible. I spent many years involved with Auburn youth, sports, and also currently affiliated as a licensed realtor with Emerson Realtors, a local realty company. I'm also employed in transportation with with United Natural Foods, United Natural Foods, also known as Millbrook Distributors in Leicester, Mass. I'm a long-standing member of Local 170 Teamsters, and I'm proud to serve my brothers and be a voice for them also as shop steward. I feel as selectman, I can bring to the people and the Board of Selectmen my negotiating skills. I negotiate on a daily basis, and believe me, it's a daily basis. But I do it for them. And at the end of the day, when we can come out of that meeting and everybody is happy and shaking hands, that's all that matters. The position of selectman would give me the honor of representing the community that has given so much to me and my family. I've always been a hard worker, and I always work hard alongside the people of Auburn. I'm often asked where I stand on certain issues, and I do have my opinions. But I think where this stands is to more about listening to the people. And once again, hearing what they have to say and representing them. I really just want to be your voice. I encourage everyone to reach out to me by email, by phone, face-to-face I prefer, in the market, wherever you see me, that'd be perfect. In this way, I will stand for and address the needs and concerns of this community. I really want to stress, this is not what I personally will do for you, but what we can accomplish together to take care of this town in which we work, live, and raise our children. Thank you.
Is Jack Royan here for the Southern Worcester County Regional Vocational School Committee? All right. And I'll go through the names for the town meeting members for Precinct 5. Brent Anderson, Ann Kavanaugh, Robert Gow, Kimberly Holstrom, Joyce Christensen Violin, Jane Collins, Diane Diamond, and Deborah Du Bois. And as Ellen said, each one of the ballots based on the section of town will have their own distinct members of the precincts. In addition to that, we have a town meeting member, Precinct 5, and that's Deborah Grimo. And if I could, I would just like to read the back of the ballot just for your own information. Good for my glasses. Question 1, shall the town of Auburn be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2.5, so-called the amounts required to pay the bonds issued in order to construct, equip, and furnish a new middle school? And your answer will be either yes or no. And the summary by Town Council at the May 7th, 2013 annual town meeting, members voted in favor of Article 17, authorizing the town to issue a bond to construct equipment and furnish a new middle school. The action of town meeting was subject, however, to a debt exclusion vote by the residents of Auburn at the annual town meeting on May 21st, 2013. The Board of Selectmen voted to seek residents' approval at its meeting on March 25th, 2013. A yes vote on question number 1 will indicate that you are in favor of the town exempting from Proposition 2.5, so-called the amount required to construct, equip, and furnish a new middle school. A vote no on question 1 will indicate that you are not in favor of the town's exempting for the proposition 2.5 so-called the amounts required to construct equipment and furnish a new middle school. On behalf of the Council on Aging, we'd like to thank everyone for coming this morning, and we would like to ask you to stay for a few moments, meet the candidates, and have refreshments provided by VASCA, the Friends Group of the Auburn Senior Citizens. Don't forget to vote. As far as the seniors are concerned, should you need transportation, you can call the center, 832-7799, and transportation will be provided for you. Thank you very much.